Hello, everybody, and welcome to TNT Tuesday Night Track. This is an Omnium, as it says on the screen there. An Omnium, for those who don't know it, is where we have 4 races, and you can see them all there: an elimination race, a kilo, a 1 kilometer race, a time trial, and a sprint. And the winner is the lowest scoring rider over the 4 events. If it sounds weird to be the lowest scoring that wins, that's because what you do is you add up all the places. So if you get first, second, fifth, and third, then you add up 1, 2, 5, and 3, and that's your score. And other events that use track leagues and various track events that use an Omnium format. And of course, they have individual races as well. But you can be crowned Omnium champion in the Olympics or the Worlds, and so on. Anyway, so tonight TNT is coming to you. Well, I'm not doing this live. It's slightly unusual for me. Normally, I commentate on these as they're happening. I was unfortunately away last night, so I let the guys get on with it. Guys and girls. Actually, I haven't peaked very much. I haven't done my own spoilers. So I sort of know who's won overall, but not to the details. So I'm as interested as you are to see how they panned out. So as I said, the first race of the Omnium is the elimination. Normally, actually, I usually end with an elimination. That's partly a timing thing because it can be a bit tricky. An elimination is where a rider or a number of riders are taken out on every set number of laps. Could be 1 lap, could be 2 laps, and so on. Obviously, it's very difficult to time that when you don't know exactly how many riders are going to be in the race and how quickly they'll be eliminated. Lapped riders are also eliminated. I'm punting that tonight, the last couple of weeks, it's been increasing, but I'm reckoning there's going to be about 20 riders or so, and it looks like we sort of have that on the line. So hopefully the timing will work and we won't run over into the second race. So yeah, just flipping the order a bit to keep it interesting. I also kept it simple this week because I wasn't going to be there, so no complicated races. We'll have those next week. I like to confuse people. So we've got about 40 seconds now as the riders are now on the line. The track that we're using here is the Izu Outdoor Velodrome. Izu, for those who watched the Olympics, was the location for the track cycling, but there's also an outdoor velodrome at Izu, and it's the home of the Japan Kirin School. If you've ever seen Kirin on the track, that's where they start off behind the motorbike. The pace increases for a couple of laps, and then the riders do a couple of laps to finish off. Usually the pace by then is over 50 kilometers an hour, and then it's a sprint to the end. So yeah, the Kirin School is based there. So we're coming up in 4 seconds to start the race. And we have here, so the first lap is just a neutral lap, and then every second lap will be an elimination lap, and 2 riders will be eliminated on each of those laps. So hopefully, if the way this would happen in real life is that when there's not an elimination lap, everything calms down a bit. People aren't so worried about getting eliminated. Obviously, you need to keep jostling for position, making sure that you're not getting caught out, because in a real life elimination race, being at the back is the worst place. You've got nowhere to go. So early on, we've got Jason Strether, Jason, PDQ coach there, Jason Hurst, Fleming Bach there, very strong rider from Denmark in his e-cycle club kit. And they're coming up now to the first of we had the first one was the neutral lap, and we're coming up now to the first of the elimination laps. That's why you're starting to see some red numbers in the bars there. So these guys at the front will be perfectly safe. We've got something like, I think it was 19 riders there. So it gives us the number there that are in the race. That's the camera being eliminated there. So that's because it's lapped. So here we come up to the first of the elimination laps. And I can see already one rider there going quite slowly, and he or she will be lapped as soon as the pack goes. It's another of the cameras. So there we go. The camera now is out, and now it's down to the people. Not that the lapping makes any difference to them. So as we cross the line, now we've got the elimination lap starting. Sorry, I'm getting my laps a bit confused. So we've got an elimination laps, and now we'll see people starting to jostle for position. I mean, it's difficult online when you're racing this race because it's hard to see around. You know, real life elimination race, if you're at the front, you know you're pretty safe, and you can sense, you can hear the wheels, you can hear the effort of people behind you. So we've got safe now, Jason, Matt Hammond there, very strong rider, Fleming crossing the line, and we'll see in a moment. The fact that there's a delay there means that there's somebody who's not. So this pack at the front looks like it's about, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9, 10 riders, maybe a few more. And there's a couple coming into screen there. So maybe we've got 12, 13 riders in this front bunch. So these guys really, so there, Jihuga crossed the line last and has been eliminated nearly when the bunch has come around. So that's probably a good 30 seconds. So that means that there's riders off the back. There we go. Trevor has been lapped and eliminated. So we had 19. We've had one eliminated. We've had one lapped. We had one other, was the camera, wasn't it? So we're down to maybe 16 riders. So if this bunch is about 13, they've actually got a few riders out on the track who will be eliminated before they really need to worry. But it's hard in an online race to keep track of that, and you know, if you're in the wrong position, then suddenly you're eliminated. So what tends to happen is the online races is the bunch still fights out every elimination lap as if it was going to come from them, even if there is someone still behind them. So they're coming up now as Brooks has been lapped and eliminated. So this is whittling it down, because these, when you're lapped and eliminated, it doesn't count as one of the eliminations. So there's Rhodes has crossed the line last and been eliminated. Again, I think that was quite some time after the bunch had crossed. So there's an elimination lap initiated now by Jay Arnell. And so they'll be fighting it out now as they come around to the finish again. So Arnell looks to be in a good position. We've got Matt Hammond up there, Jimmy Trevor, also making sure that he's at the front. He's got not a great line there on the outside. Hopefully he'll be able to come around. Jason PDQ, Matt there coming through. Is that rider in the pink purple coming through? See, Jimmy Trevor there has gone from first, now he's 10th, he's right at the back, he's 11th. But I think he's safe, but it's just, you've really got to. Arsene Beauregard crossed the line last and is eliminated. And Strether crossed the line. So wow, so he was a very strong rider. He was doing very well, but maybe made his effort a little bit too early and just got caught on the line. So the eliminations are now coming from this bunch, which means these guys really need to think about it. So maybe Jason was thinking that there were riders outside of the bunch who were going to be eliminated, and that's why he relaxed a bit. So a bit of an error there that made him go out quite early for him. A very strong rider, and will probably hope to do well in the Omnium. So Matt Hammond there initiating this elimination lap, and we'll come around again and see which two riders, don't forget, two are going to be eliminated. Normally in real life it's one rider, usually one rider on each lap or each couple of laps. Matt Hammond there coming up first. Who's going to cross the line? Miller crossed the line last, and PDQ Coach has crossed the line. Jason has also crossed the line. So two very strong riders being knocked out on the elimination lap there. It's one of the things I love about the elimination race. It just requires so much mental effort and concentration, and it really is. I mean, you have to be a strong rider to win, don't get me wrong, but it's not always the strongest rider who wins. You've got to have the right combination of paying attention, of mental vigilance, let's say, as well as having the strength. So we're on another elimination lap now. They're coming thick and fast. Matt Hammond there leading the line as we come into, looks like, I think, the final corner. Who's just behind him? Fleming Barker's just behind him. I see Mike Lister there. He's a very strong rider. Mike did a lot of the TNT races last winter. Haven't seen him lately, so it's great to see him racing. There we go. Arnell has crossed the line last, and Jimmy Trevor crossed the line last and has been eliminated. So we're down now to, what's that look like? About 5 or 6 riders. six riders, I think, there. Anthony Goff, he's been doing very well in some of the races and doing very well in the Devil, actually. Anthony's one of these guys who does okay. You know, he's sort of top 10, 5th, 6th, so on in the some of the other races, but seems to have a passion or a talent for the Devil. A man after my own heart. So Anthony Goff there initiating the elimination lap. Matt Hammond coming around to make sure he's in a good position on this one. We've got 1, 2, 3. I think that's 7 riders there. So we'll have 2 more eliminations, and then it will be down to the final 3 to fight it out. Fleming Bark there, making sure he's going well. I saw Matt Hammond with a bit of green there. It's not such a great thing to be. You need to be making that effort. Is he coming up enough to cross the line? No, I think Matt, bad luck, Matt has been eliminated there. He just eased off the pedals before as they came into the finishing straight. I think that was enough to just put him too far behind. And also Rasmus Feldbau has also been eliminated. Rasmus is another very strong rider, often has more than a few times won the overall Omnium. And is certainly someone who you would think is a potential winner of any of the TNT races. So we've got now Alan McIntyre. He's a TNT regular. Who we've got else? Anthony Goff is still in there. I see some Danish. Fleming Bark, very strong rider. I see another Danish flag there. Who's that? Hedegaard. Not someone that I've seen before, but good to see some new names coming in. And I think Mike Lister might be the name. No, that's Alan McIntyre behind there. I'm pretty sure Mike is still in there as well. So, final lap. That's because 2 will be eliminated. So, yeah, Hedegaard and McIntyre crossed the line last. And now we're down to the final 3, and they fight it out for the win. And Fleming looks like he's just laid off there. He's secure in 3rd place. He's not going to contest the final. Anthony Goff there was contesting the final, but has been out-sprinted by a very strong Mike Lister, who will cross the line first to win the Devil, win the first of the races in the Omnium. Well done, Mike. Well done, Anthony. Didn't I say that he's one of these guys who seems to really like and specialise in the Devil? So well done, Anthony, and well done, Fleming. Just easing off as he comes in. No point. You're going to finish 3rd if you've dropped off there, but the timing doesn't matter in the Omnium. It's all about the places. So that's a good result there for Mike to start the night. Sometimes in the past, actually, Mike is, is a very strong rider, does sometimes get caught out. It can happen to anyone. It happened, I think, last week to Fleming, got caught out in the Devil. I know exactly what it's like. You really have to pay attention, and you can get caught out. So there's our results there. Mike winning the race from Anthony Goff, and then Fleming Bark. So now we go into, still got about 10 minutes to go. See, this is what I mean about the timing, because I usually like to not have too long to go between the races. That's partly not only because I have to keep covering the commentary. No one likes dead air, but it also means, I don't like the riders to have too long. Obviously they're on the trainer, so they can keep their legs warm, they can keep their legs ticking over, but it's just a bit dull for them to have to sit around and wait for 10 minutes between races. So my ideal between races is normally 5 or 6 minutes. 5 minutes is usually enough for them to be able to have a bit of a breather, get their breath back, get some of the lactic acid out, and get ready for the next race. Also depends what type of race it is. Part of the reason I flipped the Devil was actually I started this week with a tempo race, and I promise next week we'll do a tempo race. So hopefully, and I think Damon is planning to stream next week, and we'll do a tempo race. And I'd slotted that in as the first race, and then realised that I wasn't going to be around on Tuesday night, and the tempo is a little bit confusing for people. It needs me to be online and be giving instructions to the riders, just to make sure everyone understands what they're doing. It doesn't work quite the same as a normal in real life tempo race because I don't have the tools to do that online, but we use the elimination format and people get points for winning each lap. So effectively, when they initiate an elimination lap, they get 2 points, and we add up the points. So where you finish in the race doesn't matter. The number of points you get is what matters in the tempo. If you're confused, then that's not surprising. We'll see it next week, but that's why I thought I needed to be online, just to make sure that if any of the riders have questions, that I'm there to answer them. So that's one. So hence I changed the tempo for a simple elimination race, and that's why we started with it this week. So we're moving on now. We've got still about 7.5 minutes to go for Kilo B. That's just my own designation. I do two types of Kilo races. Kilo as in 1 kilometre. On the track, we call it the Kilo, the 1 kilometre time trial. So last week we did the non-draft Kilo, which is, of course, the way you would do it on the track, where it's effectively just a time trial. But I like to mix that up a bit because we can do a 1 kilometre with a drafting version, or the wheel sucking version. It'll be interesting to see. We're using the same course. This is the Roubaix Oval, which was built for me by Samir. It's a nice smooth oval. It's more or less a continuous turn. There aren't really any sort of long straights. You're almost always on a gentle curve. And it will be interesting to see the times compared to the solo versions, the time trial versions last week. I'm sure it'll be faster in the drafting version. But we'll see if anybody can break away. If you time it right, you might be able to get enough of a gap that you can get away from the bunch, and they don't have time to get you, particularly if people start to think, well, if I chase him down, I'm doing all that effort, and then they're going to catch me. And that often happens also in the tempo race, actually. Track racing is a very tactical thing. So in some ways, this is really just like a very short crit, but it is also a bit tactical. You've got to think about, if I make the effort, am I just helping somebody else, and are they just going to roll me on the line? That's happened to me quite a lot. I'm not on track. I don't have a great sprint. I've got a bit of a sprint, but it's not the best sprint. I'm more of a sort of endurance type, which is why I do quite well in the Devil and those sort of races, or used to when I was racing. What often happens is, I'll chase someone down, but then somebody's on my wheel and they'll come past me on the line. But hey, what happens usually in real life track and track league is the first 6 riders over the line get points. So even if you get rolled on the line, then you may be getting 4 points for second place, you can get something out of it. My coach, when I was doing road racing, always used to say, just get in the break. If you're in a break of 5 people, well, the worst that's going to happen is you come 5th. Although I always feel that's really bad. If you're in a break of 5, you want to at least come 4th. But anyway, at least you're coming 5th, and whether if you're back in the bunch and there's another 20 people, you might end up doing all that effort and coming 25th. So that's the thing. Get in the break. So we've got a little bit over 4 minutes now. So as I said, this is draft on, and it'll be a mass start. So everybody will start together. And the clever ones will sit on a wheel, but it will take quite a lot of effort. A kilo should take them not much more than a minute to finish this race. So there will be a lot of power, and these guys, especially the faster, stronger guys, they should be able to keep, good 1 minute power for a good rider should be, say, 500 watts. On average, they would probably start off at 700-800 watts and be able to keep up 500 watts. Maybe some of them can even keep up, close to 600 watts. But 500 watts for a minute is not a bad target for anybody who's, training and trying to race, and not easy to do, that's for sure. But I'm pretty sure that Jared Miller, Matt, Jason Strether, I've left the bots in this. Damn, sorry about that, guys. Oh well, they'll leave the bots behind pretty quickly, I think. It's just annoying. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that, as I say, Matt, Jared certainly is a good sprinter. Matt also is a good sprinter, does a lot of track riding. They will have no trouble, as would neither would Mike. They'll have no trouble putting out 500 watts for a minute. So I'd expect to see them. But, with the drafting on, the thing is, so, somebody's doing 500 watts and they're maybe 75, 80 kilos, or maybe even less. If they're 70 kilos, then that's 7 watts per kilo. And drafting may be on, but keeping on the wheel of somebody who's putting out, 6 to 7 watts per kilo is not an easy thing. So they'll have to work hard just to stay on the wheel. And then people will be wanting to make sure they don't just put out all that effort and lead people to the line who only have to do a little bit of an effort to take them over as we get to the end. And it is pretty much a dead-on kilometer on this race. On an indoor track, most indoor tracks are normally about 250 meters is the standard modern indoor track. You do get some variations in certain places. So that would be 4 laps of the track. If anybody's watched that, sometimes I don't think they do it with the kilo, but there's also the 4K time trial. Is another track event which is not used in the Olympics anymore, but is often used in track championships. That's always very exciting because you have 2 riders on the track. That's the classic thing that you see also in the team pursuit, where they have the teams on opposite sides of the track, and if you're watching the coverage, you get a sense of who's gaining and who's losing as they cross the line. I'd love to be able to do something like that on RGT, but I guess I can't even imagine how technically you would try to do that. So we've got just under a minute now until we start the kilo. It will be fast, it will be furious, and it will be a lot of panting. It's a good thing that we don't have microphones on the riders. They will be really, by the end of that minute, they will be working very, very hard. So I'm predicting, I don't know, I mean, I didn't look much at I looked overall, but I can't remember who's won. So I'm going to back Matt to do this, actually. Matt or Mike, playing with the M's. I mean, obviously Fleming and Rasmus have a good chance, but I think they tend to be good breakaways. But Matt is a very canny rider. He's a very strong rider. As I said, he does a lot of track. So I reckon his track legs are going to get him over the line in this one. Here we go. 3 seconds to go. It'll be quick, so don't blink. Off they go. Arnell takes a quick start there. There's all the bots at the back. Rasmus Feldball getting a bit of a lead. That's well done, Rasmus. That's a decent lead now. He's got 15 meters on the line, but he's got to keep that up. He's doing 54 kilometers an hour, so that's going to be just over a minute to do the 1 kilo. He's nearly 500 watts there. Like I was saying, 500 watts is what you would be aiming at for a minute, or 500, 600 watts. It's going a bit up and down, not so even, but that's fine. So Mike now has got up. Oh, Matt, aha, see, told you, Matt was my vet. Matt has got up to Rasmus's wheel. That's good drafting to get onto Rasmus's wheel. Rasmus is staying with him, but I think Matt's going to get a little bit of a break now. No, Rasmus is still on his wheel. Oh, and who's come past him? Beauregard, Arsène Beauregard has flown past them. Wow, what sort of power is he putting out? 700 watts. What a brilliantly timed effort by Arsène there. He's doing 700 watts now towards the end of the race, nearly 55 kilometers, over 55 kilometers an hour, 1 minute, and there he crosses the line. Wow, that was an excellent effort. So Matt was second there, still doing still averaging 6.5 kilometers, even 6.5 watts per kilo, just behind Arsène. Okay, so, well, if I'd had an each way bet, then I would have had got some money from Matt there. So Arsène, I think he did TNT last week, and I think did very well. I remember him flying past one of the bunches there. Obviously a guy who has a bit of a kick on him when he deploys it. So there we go, Arsène Beauregard taken that 1 minute and 9. And I think, if I remember correctly, that's about 3 or 4 seconds faster than the solo efforts. Matt there, just 0.4 of a second behind Arsene, and just ahead of Rasmus, who stayed on Matt's wheel but couldn't quite come past him. Not much, 1700th of a second. Then Mike, strong rider, but not such a strong sprinter as some of the others. Jared Miller, who I maybe could have moved up a bit there, but that's a good result for Jared. Simon Hoberg, I don't think he did the first race, so that's a new name, popping up in 6th there. Jason Peter coach, Anthony Goff, backing up from his win in the second in the Omnium, so he'll have 10 points there, a 2 and an 8. Jacob Arnell, and then the other riders following on there. So I didn't see the number, but I think we had close to about 20 riders doing it there. So that's a good result for them. Now we move on to the TT. Not that long. Okay, that's good timing there. Because the good thing about the kilo is I know pretty much exactly how long it's going to take. So we've now got 2.5. So I left just under 5 minutes for them to get onto the TT. So they've gone from one really hard effort in a short space of time, and now they're going to have to do a measured effort over a longer race. I just want to check the overall results there in this thing. So who else do we have there, Jacob? We have Fleming 10th in the in that kilo. That's interesting. Fleming normally a bit stronger than that. Okay, so TT. So this course is Magic Road, and it's modelled on the Champs-Élysées Loop. I'm sure you've all seen the finish of the Tour de France in Paris, and they do multiple loops. I can't remember how many there are. Is it 8 or is it? I can't remember. It might be more than that. Loops around the Champs-Élysées. So they go up the finish, done the Arc de Triomphe, back down the other side, along the Rue de Rivoli. They go under a couple of underpasses, a little bit along the river, and then come back up around in a loop along the cobbles on the Champs-Élysées, and then do it all again. And they do it multiple times. So that loop is about 6.7 kilometers, and we've modelled a Magic Road. Again, I think Samir might have done this one for me as well, or maybe it was done just as part of some other races, and I just grabbed it. I'm a bit like a bit of a magpie when it comes to the Magic Roads. I grab the ones that suit my purposes because I need shorter courses for the Omnium races. So it's not a bad course, as you can see from the profile there. It's pretty flat. There's a little bit of a drag, which is actually the drag up to the finish on the Champs-Élysées, and there's a little bit of a downhill, but it's not it's not a lot of respite. So in the TT, the way we do it, we have a mass start, but it's no draft. So the riders will know where they are, where they're positioned. They'll know who they're chasing. But they don't get the benefit of a draft from the people they're chasing. But it means that the guys, first you have to measure your effort over the whole race. 6.7 kilometers, a little bit longer than what we normally do. Got 5 seconds down at the start. They have to measure their effort, and you find sometimes people go out a little bit hard. So who's that rider at the front there? Rasmus. Come on, Rasmus, you can't do that. If you're going in the red now, you're really going to struggle to keep that up over the whole race. I mean, look, Rasmus knows what he's doing. He's done this often enough. So let's see how he goes. But I mean, there he's doing 7 watts per kilo. So some of the others in the first 30 seconds of a race that's going to take them 12 or 13 minutes. So he's back a bit now, 350, 370, easing back a bit. I'm not sure what, I actually don't know what sort of weight Rasmus, I guess I could work that out from the watts per kilo, but Rasmus certainly capable of sitting on the sort of mid 350s for the duration of the TT. So there in second place, we've got Arsene Beauregard, 500 watts. That's also quite a lot to be doing. It's a little bit of an uphill there. Let's see the profile plus 1.2 So that makes sense. You want to be doing a bit more power when you're going up the hills, because that's or up the gradients. That's where you gain more time. In TTs, you need to sort of go slightly above your threshold on the inclines, and you can recover and go slightly under your threshold on some of the downhills, and that will actually give you the best time overall. So they're in 4th and 5th place. We've got Matt Hammond and Alan McIntyre. Alan's a very good time trialist. He knows how to pace himself, but so is Matt. He has a lot of endurance. I've been on rides where I've been trying to keep up with him. Jared Miller there in 6th, and Jason, PDQ coach, just behind him in 7th. Again, Jason actually is very good at this. I'm confident predicting that Jason will not finish 7th. He's very good at putting out a very measured effort, and he will almost certainly move up. Although he might move up on Jared Miller, but he's got a good 50 metres to make up on Matt and Alan. Then we've got Anthony Goff. We missed him in 3rd place. That's a good effort from him. I do wonder if he might have gone out a little bit too fast. So Arsene Beauregard has taken over at the front. So Rasmus made a big effort to start off with, but Rasmus has taken back the lead now. This is interesting that they're fighting this out and going to the red to do it, which you don't normally see in a TT. Normally in a TT, people just sit on whatever power they know they can maintain for the duration, and they see how it plays out. But these guys look like they're going to be fighting out, and actually in the Omnium, that is part of the dynamic actually, because at the end of the day, the Omnium, because it's judged on the places, you have to finish ahead of somebody to the timing doesn't matter. So say for Anthony Goff there. If he maintains 3rd place, it doesn't matter. If he's 80 metres behind 2nd and 80 metres in front of 4th, he gets 3rd place. So it's all about maintaining your place. So Rasmus there looks like he's taken back a decent lead. Can't quite see the distance, but it looks like sort of 20, 30 metres. And Anthony Goff, I think, is moving up on Arsene Beauregard. Maybe he put in a little bit too much of an effort. He's still in the red there. We've got Jimmy Trevor here in is that 8th place, putting out about 250, 280 watts. He's just in the yellow, occasionally back into green. So he's just sitting on a power that he can keep. I mean, the heart rate's going up there, 161 beats per minute. I don't know how old Jimmy is, but that certainly indicates that he's putting in a decent effort. And there we've got Nichols. I didn't quite catch his first name. I'll look that up later, but and Fleming Bark in 10th. Unusual for Fleming. Surprised to see him back down there. What's he sort of power is he doing? To 200, high 200s. Maybe Fleming does a lot of racing, and I know he races on Monday night, so maybe he's just doing this as a bit of a recovery. They've got Mike Lister in 11th. He's not putting up a lot of power there. I think sure Mike's capable of putting out more power than that. Got 230, 240. So Mike, if he wants to do well in the Omnium, will need to move up a little bit in the placings. Then Jason Strether in 12th place, doing sort of 260, 270, 250 watts. And his heart rate also quite high, 174, 175. So the effort is certainly there. And there we go, Chris Rhodes. Yep, Chris Rhodes can't quite see there, but Chris Rhodes, I think, in 13th place. Low 200s. They've got to the stage now where it's going to be painful, and they're just thinking about, can I keep this going? There we go, Adrian Brooks, 210 watts. And a bit lower heart rate. So, I mean, again, I don't know, maybe it's, sometimes age can make people have lower heart rates, but Adrian there looks like he's coasting along, just keeping up a steady pace. And Trevor there, that's not Jimmy Trevor, that's another Trevor. I will check the names. Will Trevor, thank you. And that looks to be our field for the moment. So what's happening now at the front? We've still got We had wow, we've had Arsene Beauregard take back the lead. So there you go. I was completely wrong. What do I know? Arsene didn't blow his fuse or burn all his matches in that little battle that he was having with Rasmus. And in fact, I thought Anthony Goff was going to catch him, but Anthony has maintained the distance, but actually Arsene has taken over from Rasmus, and Anthony has also come past Rasmus. So maybe, maybe I was right in that Rasmus had a very fast start, and that might have taken a little bit too much out of him at the beginning, and he's not been able to keep that up. So we've now got about what's remaining, 1.7 kilometers remaining, a mile in old money. So that should take them at this sort of pace, the best, maybe a bit over 2 minutes left. So that'll be a pretty good time. So we're 7 minutes now. They're going to be finishing in 9-10 minutes for total duration. Yeah, that's a decent time, but you don't do anaerobic power for that long. Usually after about 3 minutes is the time that you can maintain anaerobic power, where your muscles are just using the energy that they have stored. After that, you have to move to aerobic power, where you're taking on oxygen and you're using sort of reserves to fuel the muscles. So they've certainly been feeling that for the last 5 minutes or so. Rasmus there, jumping past Anthony. Oh, well done, Rasmus. He saved his little effort there to make sure that he could get past Anthony. Like I was saying before, it's all about the placing. So he let Anthony go past, but he stayed just within striking range to make sure that he could come past. So Arsene now in the final kilometre, coming up to the end. If he was on the Champs-Élysées, he would be coming out of the little tunnel, coming up to the little corner that takes them up there. I think that's the corner there. The famous corner where you have to be in the right place with your lead-out train, ready to do the sprint, about 500 meters up that's it. That's that corner. And now in real life, he would be facing the Arc de Triomphe and cruising up the cobbles of the Champs-Élysées. So Anthony now in the final 300 meters, just taking another corner there. No lead-out train with this one. It's a time trial, and he will go up to the finish line. As you can see, not quite like Central Paris, but we just have to use our imaginations for that one. Perhaps like a prehistoric Central Paris with tarmac. Yeah, that's not working, is it? So Arsene Beauregard taking the line there, taking the finish. A good close to 200 meters ahead of Rasmus, but Rasmus has done well to hold on to second spot. He'll come in ahead of Anthony. No threat from Anthony, who's 70 meters back. So Rasmus will claim the 2 points for the Omnium. Anthony now coming in third spot. Matt there has moved up from fourth. Did I predict, was he in a lower spot? Yes, he was. He was behind Jared, I think, when I was talking before. And as I said, I thought he would move up, but not enough to catch Anthony. So Matt crossing the line. Jared now crossing the line. That's a good, steady effort from Jared. Jason PDQ coach. So pretty close to those guys. Alan, well, he's perfectly safe. He's got a 50-meter gap over Jimmy Trevor. So he's going to come in 7th place. Then we'll have Jimmy Trevor. Nice to see him going red as they come to the line. You've got to put in a bit of an effort for show, for the cameras, for the people cheering on the line. Fleming Bach there, he's moved up in 9th place. Then he's going to be crossing the line. Got about 20 minutes to go there from Fleming. Harry Nichols now crossing the line in 10th place. And Mike Lister, maybe taking a little bit easy in 11th place. I think Mike is also Mike also often commentates, so maybe I have trouble typing and commentating, so kudos and my respect to anybody who can actually do these races while commentating on their live streams at the same time. More than I can manage. Jason Strather there coming in 12th place. And then we've got a bit of a gap back from Jason to Chris Rhodes, 200 metres back. He's making a bit of an effort to get across. So Jamie Strather. Jamie Strather. I'm getting confused, I think, with the guy in the movies, aren't I? Yeah, sorry. Jamie Strather. Chris Rhodes. The England flag there coming over in 13th spot. We'll have to turn that upside down. Then we've got Adrian Brooks in the yellow jersey. Brave statement there. The race leader's jersey coming over. Is it the race leader's jersey? No, I think there's a different one in RGT that's the race leader's jersey, but still. Habit of lifetime to avoid a yellow jersey. Puts a mark on your back. And Will Trevor crossing now in 14th place, and I think that's going to be our time. Only he's got a little bit further to go. There he goes, crossing the line there. So the overall time then, 9:11 for Arsene, 20 seconds up on Rasmus, and then steady gaps there. So most top 5 there under 10. Jason just outside of 10 minutes, and the rest of them coming in at 10, between 10 and 11 minutes. So that's a decent time. So we've got a little bit of a gap now until the next race. Again, it's a bit hard to time with a TT. Normally, I think the TT, I did think this is a bit long. Normally the TT races I do are sort of 5 to 6 kilometers, but maybe have a little bit more climbing. And, they normally take sort of 12 to 13 minutes. There's the slowest ones there at 12 minutes. So I left a decent amount of time until the next race, thinking that this one, because it was an extra kilometre or so, I thought it might take them a little bit longer, so I gave them a little bit more leeway to come up with there. I'm just going to have a sip of my tea because I'm doing a lot of talking, and this is where, when you're on Eurosport, not what I have been, you hand over to your co-commentator, hand over to Sean Kelly to say something while you have a bit of water to make your mouth not so dry. So, this is our final race. Gosh, it's gone so quickly. So this is a sprint, and we're staying on the Champs-Élysées. Remember, I was talking about the finish, the Champs-Élysées loop, and the finish, and the final sort of few hundred meters that is the very famous finish of the Tour de France. So this is just the final 500 meters. Again, I think this is I think I've been using this pretty much since I've been doing TNT races, which was, I think the first ones I did a test about, I think between Christmas and New Year last year, 2020. So not far off coming up to our first anniversary. I must check that out. So this is one that I've been using since pretty early days. Sometimes we do sprints on a track, just like I think a couple of weeks ago, if you may have seen, we did a 250 meter flying sprint. Sometimes we use the 400 meter courses, but this is a road course, so it's not going around a velodrome. It's just a dead straight 500 meters, and it's pretty much exactly 500 meters, as close as we can make it using GPS tracks. It's got a little bit of a kick. I don't know if you can catch the profile there. You'll see it better when the riders start. Kick is the wrong word. It's got a little bit of an incline. And that actually is what it's like in real life on the Champs-Élysées. There is a bit of an incline. It's a slight uphill finish. But it's always a sprint. It's not the sort of uphill that stops the sprinters from winning the races. So 500 meters, they should be doing this pretty quickly. It's a gallop to the line. No lead out train. It's a mass start, but it's no draft. So unlike Kilo that we did before, they don't get a draft. They'll all start together, but it'll be a flat out, full gas power sprint to the end. For those who do watch the tour, I was looking this up before the commentary. I knew that it hadn't been, but I had to look up the dates, to be fair. The tour has not always finished in Paris. In fact, it's only since 1975 that it first finished in Paris. And I mention that because, although everyone knows, okay, it finished, so 1975, it started on going up the Champs-Élysées. Sorry, it's always finished in Paris, but it's only since 1975 that it's finished on the Champs-Élysées. Correct myself there. But before that, and this is the track connection, it used to finish for most of the time of the tour. It finished on Parc des Princes. Anyone who's a rugby fan will know Parc des Princes is the home of the rugby. I'm not sure if any football teams play there, but certainly the French rugby team plays at Parc des Princes. But it used to be a velodrome, or it had a velodrome there. I don't know if it had rugby as well, but it was certainly one of the main velodromes in Paris. There was a very famous old velodrome in Paris called the Velodrome d'Hiver. I'm not even going to. My French is terrible. I have to get my wife to come and tell you how it's pronounced. But anyway, the winter velodrome. It was an indoor velodrome. And I'm not sure if they had other things there, other winter sports there. I think it might have been a sort of winter sports palace type of thing that they built in the early 20th century, maybe even late 19th century. But that used to be a famous indoor velodrome. And then there was Parc des Princes as well, was a velodrome. And there was also, I think, Parc des Princes stopped as a velodrome in the late 60s. Then there was the Velodrome de Vincennes, and that was used as a finish once they couldn't use Parc des Princes for about 6 or 7 years. So most of the times that Eddy Merckx was riding the tour, it would have finished at Velodrome de Vincennes. And then in 1975, it moved into central Paris and finished up the Champs-Élysées with apparently the president at the time had to get involved to authorize it. And the first winner on the tour on the Champs-Élysées was a famous Belgian sprinter called Walter Godefroot. I'm not sure whether 1975, Merckx would have been riding in it. I wonder if he won the yellow jersey that year. It would have been one of his last. No, Bernard Thévenet won the yellow jersey in 1975. That's the track connection, or the track disconnection, if you like, between the Champs-Élysées finish of the tour. And of course, the rider who has won the most times on the Champs-Élysées finish is our very own, or UK's very own, Mark Cavendish. In fact, I will hopefully be seeing Mark Cavendish in a blur in a group of riders, but he's riding in the British National Championships this weekend, which are being held up in Lincoln, which is home of a famous long-standing race, the Lincoln GP, and it's been combined with the National Championships this year. And Mark Cavendish will be one of the riders who is racing in that. And Mark, I'm sure many of you know Mark from the Cavendish from the tour, but Mark is actually a fantastic track rider. I've seen him at some of the 6-day events that they have in London, and he's such a good track rider, such a great entertainer. If you ever get a chance to go to the 6 days, it's worth having a look. So we're getting 15 seconds now. We're coming up to this final event. This is going to be over very, very quickly. I'm predicting less than maybe about 30 seconds. So we should be going red. Everyone should be going red now as they hit the line. There we go. Rasmus Felber. Wow, what a fast start. What's he getting? Over 10 watts per kilogram in that first few meters. Jared Miller there. Hedegaard. Another very strong Dane. He's obviously got sprint legs. Jared Miller coming up there. Matt Hammond in third. Matt is a very strong sprinter. Matt will be chasing Rasmus all the way to the line. Jared Miller in fourth there, but we've still got Rasmus. He's holding his lead. He's going to cross the line in first. 33 seconds, 34 seconds, 35 seconds. That's fantastic time from Rasmus. And Matt came past Hedegaard for second place, I think. Then they're coming in thick and fast. There's not much of a finish gap in a race of this duration. So what was it? Yeah, Matt just crossing the line there in second place behind Rasmus. Simon Hedegaard just behind Matt in third place. Then Jared Miller, Mike Lister, strong ride there in fifth place. Arsene Beauregard in sixth. Jason PDQ Coach in seventh. Anthony Goff in eighth. Alan McIntyre in ninth. Chris Rhodes, Jamie Strether, Jimmy Trevor, and Adrian Brooks in 52 seconds, coming in 13th place. So not as many riders finishing as started, but that's often the way. People can't always stay for the whole time. They jump in and out of events, or they come in late and see what races they can do. So just recapping now some of the standings from the races. So Arsene Beauregard won the first race, the Devil. Then we had and the second one, and then Rasmus won the third race, the TT. So yeah, Arsene taking the first Devil and then the Kilo. Rasmus taking the TT, and Mike. No, why have I got? No, there's something wrong here. I have looked at I'm looking at, no, okay, ignore me on that. I don't know why, but I have looked at the results in RGT DB, which are usually pretty good, and I don't know why, but it's giving me some weird results. It's telling me that Mike won the fourth race, the sprint there, but we know he didn't. So I'm a bit confused about that, which means that I'm not going to be able to tell you who won the overall, because definitely it was Rasmus who won that final race, ahead of Matt, ahead of Simon, Jared, Mike, Arsene, and those. So the order is right in the race. I don't know why. So RGTV has a calculation that tells me, that adds up the Omnium without me having to sort of go through each one to work out who's won each thing and then add them up. And it certainly has the right results, but I don't know why it is not adding them up when I do it. So let me try again and see if it will do it this time, and then I'll be able to tell you who's won the overall. Nope, it's still giving me some odd results and telling me that Mike won the last race. So anyway, I think Rasmus has won overall. Certainly Rasmus, Arsene, and Matt will be up there, but I'm going to have to check those results for the overall Omnium over the 4 races and make sure we give them. So I'll put that onto, we'll update on RGTDB, and I always update the events on the Facebook page on RGT User Events, which is a great place to look if you want to know what's going on, and also on the Discord channel as well, which is devoted to RGT and has some threads within it. So thanks for joining us this week on the stream, brought to you by ZMS and being broadcast on esports television. Hope you've enjoyed it. I think we'll be back live. Well, I think we're back next week, and I'll certainly be around, so we'll be doing it live next week. And as I said, we'll be having some complicated and confusing races, everything you like about track, certainly everything I like. So we'll have tempo. We might also have a TT Devil, which is an elimination race, but with no drafting, which effectively becomes a TT, but you have to be a bit more careful about how you move up. So there we go. A few other events coming up. Got Echelon Racing League. That's starting next month. That's a huge event, probably the biggest event, I think, on RGT, a mix of sort of amateur community and sort of elite racing. There's the West London VR series, which is happening every Wednesday and is broadcast. And there's also the La Copa racing that's on at the moment. And there we go, ECKD, the Denmark racing that Fleming and Rasmus has organised. So all those things and more on ZMS live stream and esports television. You can follow it on their Facebook page. Dan's very good about putting up updates and Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, social media, of your choice for all the details. Oh, there's more. Tour de Suisse. That's an OTR event. So great to see lots more events coming up on RGT as we come into winter. And more organisers realising what a great platform this is. So thanks for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've found it interesting, and look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.